Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Survive the Spin, F.E. Patriot, Steve on the Level, Thomas van der Zander, Cannabear, Gary Hughes, Measured Flat, Chris Wouters, Sensual Goat, Mitch Kennedy, Rod the Name's Burley, Twadwazzle, Jason Hornsby, Christoph Fournier, Flat Earth Travolta, JMails24, Unimento, Iron26, Endless, Golden McKinnon, Retro Bill, Level Plain Poem, Michael Kahn, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Mel B. Styles, Hairy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Rob W., Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Texas Mike, Charian Cat, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Links to Patreon are below this video. And with that, I'll hand across to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
And somebody was replacing all his videos with their junk, but he got his channel back since. What's his name? No, there's nobody else here to. I want to say something like Lord British or something like that. that's not it. Oh, one of those effy guys. You know, why don't I just scan yesterday's video and see who he was talking about? Make sure I'm not mixing them up.
A £400 repair bill on our car.
Okay.
It was making a squeaky sound, so I'm like, okay, well, it needs new brake pads. Which you think, oh, maybe it'll be a couple of £100. Maybe it'll be 100. You never know your luck. And they're like, the brake pads are all fine. One of the calipers is binding. Do you want me to strip it and find out why? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So he strips it, phones me back and says it's knackered. You'll need to replace the caliper. I'm like, fine. They replace the caliper, £200 bill, and then phones us back and goes, since we've changed the one caliper, the other one doesn't want to play ball now. I'm like, oh. Says, yeah, you're going to need both of them doing. How wonderful. Which means I've been walking around all day, so I'm in a pretty bad mood because I'm tired. I've been walking everywhere. Walked to a swimming class, walked to the garage. Walked back from both. My feet hurt. I'm in a bad mood.
All right, well. What are you saying? Steer clear of you today?
Yes.
Yeah?
That's what you need to do. Definitely. Essential. Need to dig that video out again so we can actually cover it today.
I don't know. Muddy's not in yet.
No, Liam's in the hangout.
Got videos too.
He wanted me to cover a particular, like, loudmouth glurf. And I did have it all queued up yesterday. I just didn't cover it because we covered something we were supposed to cover on Friday with the potato.
Oh, you guys never covered that video that Mighty Mush wanted covered?
No, that's what we covered. Yeah, we covered it yesterday.
Oh, okay. But Sensual's video didn't get covered yesterday. I got you.
But today we're covering I Baited the Smartest Flat Earther.
Yeah, there's a swear warning with him, though.
Yeah, you said in the comment. I mean, I listened to it. It didn't seem that bad to me. It get worse towards the end because I didn't watch all of it.
No, it was mostly early on. Maybe
well,
do a few housekeeping questions
my intention was
first.
to start at about the 2 minute mark because he had the whole first minute and a half, 2 minutes, I think it was just a whole bunch of nothing.
Sure, but to be fair, he does go through the arguments that are presented to him, and they are, I'd say, David Weiss level arguments.
Yeah, there was one that was about entropy from memory, but yeah, we'll definitely cover it. I've got it queued up anyway, so it's ready to go.
Good, thank you.
That's in saying that from memory, he was very quiet. Let me just sound check him.
Before we knew that
Yeah, he
it
is.
orbited the sun. So because I'm now farming this guy for content, and he didn't watch the last video, I knew he just commented and ranted like crazy without actually watching the video. I'm going to continue to make fun of him. Over 44 NASA and government documents assume the Earth is flat and non-rotating.
How do people achieve that? It's both quiet and overloading. I don't get it. Okay, fine.
The show last night was a blast, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it's a show. Sometimes I forget. You told me to round out at the end. I'm like, oh yeah. Same as just chit chatting most nights, right? You're there for some of them.
Yeah, it is a laugh. It's like being in an intellectual pub.
Yeah, I'd agree. You're in a pub where they're playing backgammon, things like that. You know what I mean? Chess.
Rather than darts and dominoes.
Exactly.
Or it's like talking to engineers.
That guy that he's talking about, are you one of my members?
Yeah.
That guy yesterday was like, are you an engineer? Because I asked him if he understood how the principle of a vacuum would relate to an engine. He's like, are you an engineer? I'm like, are you having me on?
Well, you think engineers would get it first?
But he was a mechanic. So somebody who understands the most basic principle of an engine functioning, you wouldn't think, oh, right, you understand how... it's part of the... to me, it seems so stupid that a mechanic wouldn't know that or would have a vague concept of it. Like, that's how the engine works. But, I mean, maybe not. To a mechanic, it's just that bit's broken, bolt on new bit.
Yeah, I think it's a small example of the larger problem where people, like with gas pressure about a container, because they beg the question of a globe, even though they can't demonstrate gas pressure about a container, they have a special pleading fallacy in their mind because there has to be a sphere.
Got to work somehow.
Yeah.
I thought that would be a slick way to introduce that concept by comparison to a mechanic. It's the second time I've had a mechanic on Omi, and both occasions they've gone, vacuum? Engine? You're like, okay. There was me thinking that because you're a mechanic, you would instantaneously get this. But they just seem to have a vague idea of what I was talking about when I'm like, well, engines, vacuums, right? What? Well, oh, yeah, vacuum. Okay. Why isn't this in the forefront of your mind? I suppose, like I say, if you're a mechanic working on a car that's broken, it's like with my calipers. Does it work or doesn't it? It doesn't, replace it or fix it. Like that scene in the Matrix when he takes them down to the mechanical levels where they've got all the recycling machines and stuff. It's like nobody cares how it works, just that it works. The only time anybody puts any concern into it is when it stops working.
Yeah, I'm a bit like that. I spend most of my time at work, so I just need things to work. I take it for granted that they will.
Yeah.
It reminded me of when I used to work at a steel press place. I used to have to put your hand in the machine to retrieve the metal that had been pressed. And I died 1,000 deaths in my head from reaching into that press, sweating that it. I was hoping was that the sensors on the press weren't made in China on a Friday afternoon. Because my arm is at stake here,
Right.
So I was praising people I'd never met in my mind that they'd done their job correctly. So I could keep my arm.
Did that guy who wind the little coil around the sensor do a good job or not? You could take that attitude every time you drive a car. A ton of steel that is, waiting to kill you.
Yeah, the death machine. No.
Yeah. I just don't appreciate it. I was watching a Dr. Grande video. He's like a quack or whatever you would call him, psychologist. And he's talking about this, I think he must be in his late teens, early 20s YouTuber that just crashed his McLaren. Why? Well, because he's driving on a wet road at about 70 with a cameraman in his passenger seat filming him while he's texting and driving on with one hand and accelerating on a wet road. And you're like, he crashes and gets out of the car like it's some sort of surprise. Like, okay. You're in a car that can do 200 miles an hour. What are you doing? Texting and looking at your phone with one hand on the steering wheel.
That reminds me when Jeremy Clarkson on Top Gear rang up insurance companies pretending to be 17. And for his Volvo, that was very safe and very slow, he got quoted 4 times the price of the car. So he said, "You're telling me that I'm going to write this car off 4 times?"
No, you're going to write someone else's car off 4 times. So a guy, mate of mine, it's not actually him, it's his younger brother, happened to be around when I was chatting around him about insurance. And he was like, how much is your insurance? And I was like, oh, I think it's about 250, something like that, 230. It's like, oh, mine's not that much more. Mine's 380, I think. I was like, oh, that's because you're, that much younger. It's going to be more expensive. And then for whatever reason, it suddenly dawned on me that he wasn't talking about an annual amount. That was his monthly amount. So we pay 230 quid for a year's worth of insurance. He paid nearly £400 a month for insurance. I was like, what? That's absolutely nuts. Why? Well, because he's young and he's in a turbo Golf. So, yeah, he's probably going to crash. so his insurance is horrendous.
That's tragic and hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, our insurance is probably super, super cheap because I did years and years and years of driving, like hundreds of thousands of miles without any accidents. So now our insurance is so cheap it's untrue. To the point where if we haven't ever had anything that would normally go on an insurance claim, we would just get the work done. Do you know what I mean? We wouldn't put it through the claim because there's just no point.
Yeah, and to divert it to flat Earth, when QE said, I heard about a month ago, he said that miles and kilometers are linear distance measurements.
Right.
My hair stood up.
Okay. Yeah, miles and kilometers are flat. Should be obvious though, right? It's on all the maps that we use with scales. I mean, it's one of those, if you don't think about it, you don't think about it, do you? I mean, for me,
No, it's just so you're right, and it's just so obvious.
it is. Well, it is to me, or it was to me. But it's like the flights. You know, when previously I've said, it just doesn't do it for me. Yeah, flights was on that list. Now, couldn't be a bigger advocate for it, could I? So we've got documentation. It's in black and white. There's no ambiguity. There it is. Earth's flat. What do you want? Now it's best proof ever.
As good as the lift effect was, none of us fly. So we're all going off imagination. Whereas with data, it's on paper, as you said, in black and white.
There was nothing wrong with any of the logic. That Adam's example and Brian's and QE's separately all stood scrutiny. There was nothing wrong with any of them in any of the presentations they ever did. But hopefully this will stand as an example for why I'm like, meh, I don't know, it's just not mine. I don't like it. It's not for me. They're like, what do you mean it's not for you? It's excellent. You should understand how lift works, or you'd understand how you need a horizontal, or whatever. Like, no, here it is in the pitch data. You can draw a line under it then. It was the same with Google Earth. There you go. There's a comparison for me. Hairs on the back of my neck standing on end when I saw something. When I can't even remember who it was. Someone drew out an elevation profile in Google Earth, and the hairs on the back of my neck stood up like, oh, it's completely flat. Look. Why didn't we see this before? Why didn't we figure it out before? Why are we referencing all of this stuff and looking it up on Google Earth when it's completely flat? Measured that way. But that is kind of the same thing, right? Saying about linear distances. That appreciation for me came from the elevation profile, but it's the same exact proof. You're right. You're talking about the same standard of evidence.
Yeah, what I was going to say was, it's a shame for people who are so hostile to flat Earth, they don't allow themselves to have those moments of realization and acceptance and enjoyment, really.
It's relief as opposed to enjoyment. So as much as I enjoy making the show, everything like that is another reason that it doesn't take up my day, as weird as that sounds. So today, yeah, it's all about flat Earth. All I've done is edited a whole bunch of videos. But none of my concern is about, is the argument concise? Are people going to understand? So it don't matter. I just edit out the gaps and make sure it flows well. I don't have any concern about the subject matter anymore. It's not a agree-disagree subject. It's just, it is what it is. Now, there's a load of people around us who have deep concerns about it because it doesn't meet the standards of their belief. They lose sleep. I don't. Making the show's fun. Arguing with Brian and calling him Irish is fun.
For me, reviewing the videos and analysing people who are hostile to something they don't understand, there's just something about that that's beautifully tragic.
I don't like that.
Because it's about Earth, it's not too personal, it's not about abortion or this right or that right, so it's not too personal.
Yeah, but they make it personal. Because it isn't personal, they make it about the individual, don't they? Our opponents, that is.
Yeah, but the subject isn't inherently personal, so they have to take it there. It's not already there to start with.
Yeah, I suppose. But it is tragic, and I don't like that. I remember hating Faulty Towers growing up. Just, I don't know. The tragic aspect of it I don't appreciate. It is tragic.
So I'm guessing you don't like The Office then? or
I hate
Peep
it.
Show, because they were
Can't
like,
stand it.
yeah.
I also fail to appreciate how other people appreciate it. I find that a struggle too.
There's something about the British social awkwardness that is endearing. It's very authentic. We're not pretending that life's a movie where all scenes flow in and out and transitions are perfect. There's awkward moments and kind of laughing about it rather than wincing about it. It's a way to go about it.
All I ever felt was it was badly timed. The comedy wasn't well timed. Now, I get it. People have explained it to me like you've explained it to me. And I'm like, to me, the timing just seemed off. It didn't make me laugh.
Yeah, it is hard to watch. You have to be in a certain mood to watch. I think Borat did it best, to be fair. And Ali G. Sacha Baron Cohen back in the day, in the early noughties. It is prime.
Yeah, Ali
He's
G, I
woke
loved.
now, so
Ali G
he's
was
off the
really
rails.
funny. Or Sacha Cohen, or whatever his name is.
Say again, sorry.
Half of my being a transgender black Jewish lesbian is stolen from him, right? Is it because I is black?
Right, yeah. Honky. When he called Buzz Aldrin Buzz Lightyear, and Buzz
Lightyear.
looks at him. Yeah.
I'm here with Buzz Lightyear. He asked him, "Is the moon real?"
He wasn't expecting that.
Mic check.
Hey, Neil. Yeah, is the moon real? What he didn't appreciate is that is actually quite a profound question.
Well, yeah, because if you change the word to physical, now we're talking.
Yeah, but in the context of Buzz Light, just call him Buzz Lightyear, Buzz Aldrin, it isn't a physical item he's travelled to, although he thinks it is. So real, in the context that he had to lie about, it is very pertinent, which is, although unintentional, probably why he was immediately on the back foot with him. I mean, he probably knew it was a joke because he was being called Buzz Lightyear, but you know what I'm getting at? You can still, that's how Ali G and that particular guys caught people off guard, because he'd occasionally drop in a question that would be really awkward for them. But because he seems kind of, what's the word? Not stupid, but, this person's harmless because of their ineptitude. So he leaves people thinking, oh, this guy's just a buffoon. And so then when he offers up a question like that, it does catch them off guard.
Well, yeah, but he doesn't call him Buzz Lightyear till right at the end.
Was it right? I
So-
thought he introduced him as
Yeah.
Buzz Lightyear. I thought he's like, I'm here with Buzz Lightyear as the introduction. Maybe it's a long time ago. This is like 15 to 20 years ago now, isn't it?
Yeah, from what I remember, he says it at the end. He says, big up my man, Buzz Lightyear.
Right.
So the way he's coming across is that he's a sort of rapper, TV show host. Someone who used to host with Pimp My Ride, Tim Eastwood, like an equivalent of him.
Yeah, Tim was a DJ on Radio 1. He used to do the Friday night, like, dance music set back in the I'm going to say late 90s. His dad's a vicar.
How interesting.
And he got shot. So in the mid 90s, he ended up getting shot because he was running around with a load of gangsters. He ended up getting shot in the leg. So he's like quite a weird character. He's like 7 foot tall as well. He's like really gangly, massive looking guy. Looks like a chav from round the corner. And is working for the BBC. Talks in a really common way, is a DJ, has been shot, and has a father that's a vicar. You couldn't get a more colourful character.
Yeah, it's part of what makes this country great, though. The amount of roads you can take by choice.
Was Ali G's character just based on him then?
It looked like that. It looked like he was just a representative of that time. And so he looked authentic, even though he was a complete spoof.
But he must have been spoofing him because that's exactly how he looked. I mean, it wasn't quite as garish. He wouldn't be in a gold tracksuit, but he would be in a tracksuit that was shiny with jewellery on and rings on and talking like a black man sucking his teeth. That's how he talks, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know for sure, but looking back in hindsight, you're probably right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's who he based it on. That's, because he's trying to be black cool at the time. That Tim DJ guy, what was his name? Tim Eastman or something.
Or Westwood.
Westwood, that was
Possibly.
it. Tim Westwood. Yeah, Tim Westwood. I'm certain that's who Ali G was based on.
Looking back, what he got away with was outrageous.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that the standard has moved. That's still not. That didn't set the standard. That set the. It's just nostalgia now.
Right.
What you could do. I know he faced a load of lawsuits after then.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I remember England played Kazakhstan in a football match to qualify for a competition. And the Kazakhstan football manager was asked about Borat, and he got very offended and went on the defensive, and asked his players not to swap shirts with the England players. So they wanted to swap shirts because it was a common thing when you play with legends or people who are famous. You want to get their shirt, and they weren't allowed to do it from the manager because of being asked about Borat. So it was very sensitive. They didn't like Borat at all.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
But the whole point is that he, in a spoof way, represented stereotypes that didn't exist, but he pretended still did, or in a way, and then went to America and the exact same stereotypes were there that he was portraying. So it was kind of saying that there was no real difference where you are. The same views can be had everywhere.
Yeah.
An example was when he said to the rodeo guys, he said, "In my country, we execute homosexuals," and then they high-fived him.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't take much for people's racism or bigotry to come out if someone else is encouraging it and says, "Oh yeah, that's acceptable by me."
Yeah, it was very clever what he did.
You could see how that would rub people up the wrong way, after the fact when they see it in the edit and like, this makes me look like a monster. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Why do you think that is?
And, so many Americans would love the idea of him playing a Middle Eastern character and have him look a fool. But when they look just as much a fool as he does, then now everybody hates him.
Why did you want to cover that guy that we're covering today, Jay? Is it just because he was a smart ass?
It's just a new video. To be honest, Nate, it's not really for them, it's for their viewers. So people will go in the comments, and when you see your name repeatedly come up, someone somewhere is going to have something in the brain tell them, I'll check this out. And then they'll actually listen. And all it takes is one hour show, I'd say, just to get the gist of what's going on and see how wrong you are. It only took me a show or two to realise, oh, this is the standard. This is the place to be.
It amazes me that we get so much pushback from our own side, called scammers and such, when the quality of information, you're not alone. I mean, I'm very grateful to hear it, but, to appreciate that, yeah, a show or two is all you need. And then you're on your way, either knowing Earth's flat and getting on with your day, or going, I need to listen to this all day, every day, so I can argue with these tossers. In which case, each will be satisfied. So what do we get from the people who should be on our side, utilising these arguments, smashing ballers around? Oh, they're scammers. What? How does that make sense? You're like, are these people shills? They're continually making us look like idiots. And they're calling the people with the best quality information scammers. What's going on? Best way to defeat the opposition is to lead it.
Yeah, I remember when I got here, it was before you was reviewing the videos. So I distinctly remember, okay, so this is where the real conversation takes place. So I was looking through the videos for the certain subjects, like for Earth radius, for flights, for Earth rotation. So I'd get all the major points, and then I'd go into the nuances, which would be listen to any show.
Yeah, it's listening to Brian and me, or Brian and QE, or Arwin and Neil arguing about something that's seemingly insignificant at surface level, but deeply important to us. And then one day you'll hear it argued, and the nuance will come out, and it'll cut an argument down because it hasn't given them an opening to get in there, begging the question fallacy or whatever, because of the phraseology that's been scrutinised for an hour. That's why we do it.
Yeah, it's important having those, like recently with the flight data with Brian's logic, and the video title was Flight Data Path, and the thumbnail was of the graph. And so that's a staple video that somebody can just go in and learn. They haven't got to listen to 45 minutes before they hear something new.
Yeah, I agree. An easy presentation as well. Yes, you need it breaking down and putting back together again if you're going to be the one presenting it. But in terms of just digesting it as flat earth information, it's really easy to comprehend for anyone. That's why I like it. I've described it. You just slap it down on the desk. There you go. Bosh. What are you going to say to that? There is no ambiguity here. It's also not surprising, is it? All roads do lead to a flat earth.
QE made me laugh when he said the comment section appeared cult-like. I did laugh out loud when he said that. But I will say that poor guy, Isaiah Hernandez, his comment section just filled with your name.
Yeah, I think with the bigger YouTubers, because they don't need me, a little YouTuber, saying that, they just delete them all. So he's like, oh great, I've got loads of comments now. That video only had 200 views. So they're like, well, it's probably got double the views now and a load of comments, so it looks great for him. That's what YouTube videographers want. He doesn't want the information to get debated or discussed. He just wants to be heard, right? And people are hearing him. So he's pleased, I would assume. He's got nothing to offer in rebuttal other than calling me a scammer, saying I've not got a degree. And you're like, okay, that's an ad hominem fallacy. Sad. But there we go. That's what you've got. Fairly standard fare.
Oh, personally, I disagree. That video is more like somebody putting out a social media post on Facebook to gain social recognition and affirmation from others. and then just seeing what's the word, resistance in the comments and people disliking it, and they won't like that because that's not why they made the post. That's not what he made that video for.
You're saying he's made it for pain relief. He wants people to come along and go, yeah, these flat earthers, we need to get the non-profits to get behind the voice to amplify this. So he goes, yes, I told you that that's what we needed to do, didn't I? And instead they go, dick, can't have gas pressure without a container. But not with the word dick at the beginning of it. Kill him with kindness when you read the comments. Such a brilliant video. My polite colleague Nathan Oakley sent me here to let you know that he responded. It'd be lovely to see a response from you.
Right, and that's his game, that's his etiquette. So playing him at that, oh, beautiful to see.
Also beautiful to see him throw his dummy out the pram with his appeal to authority. I've got a science degree. Oh, have you now? No, mate, we'll take your words and decide how much your comprehension level is in terms of science. Not because you say you've got a degree in it. Yeah, we couldn't give a toss. But in typical societal level interactions, he'll find that works quite well. Oh, I've actually got a science degree. Really? Oh, hail! No, I'm going to work on this, son. Nor will the ad hom. You haven't got a science degree. And? I mean, I don't know what science is, because you don't.
Yeah, that poor guy.
It brings a smile to my face. It's all we've dealt with for 10 years, right? I'm a professor. Couldn't give a crap. How'd you violate the second law of thermodynamics with your sky vacuum belief? I'm a professor. Yeah, you think that worked the first time, Dumbo? Nobody cares. Respect my authority as a professor. No, we'll respect the second law of thermodynamics, thanks.
Yeah, he's going to need a container for his climate change anyway, because I've typed in greenhouse effect demonstrations and they all use containers. The only ones without containers are cartoons.
Right. Yeah, you'll need a container. Absolutely, without question, to have gas pressure. It's a delta when they appeal to the gradient. You've got to have a container to begin with. You're not going to form gas pressure to get gas pressure gradients. To then have them vary with weather and climate, unless you've got containment. Where it all begins.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be bindable.
Maybe not. I mean, I'm hoping the book will open up the audience, as in there's people that are out there looking for books on this subject, as opposed to searching YouTube for a debate. You know, we'll potentially increase our, what's the word, reach? That might be the right word, by having another outlet with all the same information. Heavily refined, but typically the same things we talk about daily.
Yeah, and the fact that it can be made into an audiobook is another market.
My wife's got to walk down to the garage now to go and get that car. That means that there's a fair chance the kids will come in and make a load of noise. Just so you know.
Well, if you want to leave that video till tomorrow because it was swearing.
Nah, it's not that that'll bother me. It's more the fact that they'll create audio chaos on my recording.
Maybe have them play Sleeping Lions.
I don't need parenting tips, but thanks. No, they're normally reasonably well behaved, even though she's disappeared. My wife, that is. They should be alright. We'll see. Got 5 minutes to get them settled. Got nothing left to sound check. Everything's set up, so I've got no buttons to press. Got 5 minutes before the live show. How's everyone in Discord?
I was about to ask, hello, Discord.
Morning.
Hey, Adam.
Any new issues or conversations you wish to raise?
I can't even remember what we talked about in Ballbusters yesterday. Vaguely remember covering McToon. Can't remember what he was talking about. Vaguely remember QE telling everyone to shut up whilst trying to play the video. Sounds like every single show, every QE show.
He was in the church, I think, or in the Bible study class or whatever, and he was up there preaching his religion.
Preaching how the Bible was wrong, I do remember now. Preaching to a church how wrong the Bible is, and how you can square that circle of the wrong Bible and how wrong it is.
I said, Globe is so powerful that they'll sit there and let him shovel crap on their own religion for his. Because they're in it too.
Yeah. Yeah. Got a Church of Globe now. Oh, yeah, and we've got this other book that we definitely believe every word of, but here's how every word of it's wrong. Because I believe in a ball.
There's a part in today's video where he said... Sorry, Adam, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, man. No, go ahead.
Where he's accused in his comments of being part of a spinning ball religion. And he proudly says, yes, okay, I'll take that. And I looked in the comments and somebody said, yes, I'll proudly be part of the spinning ball religion.
Yeah, they are.
I was just going to say,
my freaking phone wasn't working.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go on, Neil.
I'm talking about yesterday on QE, that McToon. You know this? He has a belief. He doesn't know that God exists. So that's why he could just say what he wants to say, because he don't hold the word of God as true and real and alive. He has no fear of God. Say that he said that to try and trick children like he was trying yesterday, from what I heard, that has no fear of God. He does not exist.
I was going to say, I remember. I'm sorry, Neil.
Go on, Adam.
I was just going to say, is messed up that, nobody stood up for their own religion. They just sat there and kind of like watched him do it. And Adam remarked on that yesterday. And I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, it was quite disgraceful.
Let him try to pull that crap over here.
And click
Good
OK.
morning.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm all right, other than a £400 bill for calipers on our crappy old 25-year-old car. Other than that, everything's hunky-dory, Neil. Thank you for asking. Everyone loves unexpected car builds. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge? Horizon, formerly known as Earth curvature.
In orthographic view?
In orthographic view, the derivation of the point called horizon, claimed to be Earth curve, utilizes a flat surface level and parallel eye level to infer it. So no. Any scientific evidence of gravity? Looking at you, Discord. We warmed you up. We warmed you up.
I dropped something.
Say again.
I dropped something and it fell down. There you go.
I'm just looking up at these clouds here. Are they going down?
What's down again?
Down reference to a horizontal plane, perpendicular to it.
Well, that's that.
That's the end of that. Yeah, you'll need a flat earth to describe that downward vector or upward vector in the case of clouds and how they get there. So there is no downward bias. That was superseded 109, almost 110 years ago now, by Einsteinian bent pseudo-Riemannian space-time geometry. Much easier to debunk.
Well, I heard that it refined it. It built upon it rather
No.
than superseded.
Absolutely not. They're in entirely different geometries. One is three-dimensional, the other is fourth-dimensional. You can't translate three-dimensionality into fourth-dimensionality geometry. It's not possible. There are no conversions. How are you going to describe the fourth dimension in Newtonian mass-attracting mass? You can't. No space-time to bend in Newtonian. How can it be a refinement if it doesn't exist in the former? It isn't. It superseded it.
No, but time does exist. So therefore, 4D exists.
Time does not exist. It's a concept that we have derived from patterns of light used so we can conceptualize the passage of our existence in the known universe. It is a concept. It certainly is not an aspect. It certainly is not physical. It is certainly not something you can manipulate or exist within.
So you're saying that time isn't real?
It's a concept.
You flat earthers just deny things.
Concept. Certainly isn't a dimension. There is no fourth dimension. It's just invented in Einstein's maths. Just poofed it into existence.
But atomic clocks, I've heard something about atomic clocks and time dilation. They proved it. So just look up atomic clocks and then you'll understand it.
Okay, so what you're saying is you can provide a parlour trick. What's the scientific evidence is the question on the table. Parlour tricks aren't going to cut it. There is no scientific evidence because there is no phenomena. Conjuring one with cesium ain't going to cut it.
Anyone from Discord going to help me out? I need a white knight.
You need a baller. Baller to help you. Not with an answer, but with distractions and rumpusing. That's what you need. Because that's all you're going to get. Right, let's move on. Any evidence you can have gas pressure without a container for the gas to press upon?
Gas fills space unless it's contained.
I was speaking to these two Saudi Arabian students yesterday on OMI, and I'd be intrigued. What language do they speak in Saudi Arabia? Anybody know? Let me know in the comments.
Arabic, maybe?
I don't know. I didn't know. I didn't ask either. Say again, Mr. Palmer.
You had it right, Arabic.
If anybody speaks Arabic and is a member of mine, there's a slim chance. Let me know what they're saying while I'm talking to them, because their English isn't fantastic. I edited out all of their disclaimers, right? So these two chaps that were lovely, were like, look, we'd like to learn better English so we can communicate these concepts to you, but our English just isn't satisfactory enough to communicate these complex descriptions. Because from what I gleaned, the one guy's like, no, I'm studying space, right? I'm like, space is fake. Gas would fill it. And I describe how a fart would behave, because obviously there's a bit of a language barrier. So I'm trying to keep it as simplistic as I can. And the thing that popped into my mind was, describe flatulence, because it's a very easy concept to grasp in terms of the dispersion of the gas. And they got it immediately. And where they went, or the one guy in particular, was, no, there is a barrier. There's like a layer over Earth. You're like, well, how do the rockets get out? And they're looking at each other going, yeah, gas would fill the space. But then they had a conversation, presumably in Arabic, to try and qualify some of these concepts. And the simplistic one that they could put into their English, for me, was atmosphere. And I'm like, do farts form spheres? And they're like, no. I'm like, right, what do they do again? Spread out everywhere? Yeah? So that was, although it might be a difficult conversation to listen to, I don't know, I'll have to wait for the feedback, because there is lots of pauses where they're chatting between themselves in their mother tongue. Obviously, I don't know what they're saying, so I'm just pausing, because I want it to be on the recording, because my hope is someone will come along and say, what they're actually saying is, no, the gas go down, go boom, boom, go splash, splash. Or whatever they're saying, I don't know. That was my guess, and they didn't confirm that I was correct, so it would be intrigued to know what they're saying. I'll release that to the public in due course, probably at the weekend. But yeah, if you remember, check it out. There's about half a dozen videos that I made last night and yesterday. Just do one more housekeeping, then move on to the video. Can you remember in that video, Liam, what housekeeping question was relevant to what he was covering? Can you remember?
The gas pressure vat container came up. Most certainly.
Well, just in case. Any evidence of axial rotation with respect to a horizontal plane of the Earth-based variety?
Not from an airplane or a hot air balloon.
Yeah, you're going to need a flat plane to describe that axis. Okay, we've got a video to cover. Guy today is called Jay. Dead easy to share the name of his channel. Not particularly catchy, but easy to say at least. And he has got a video called I Baited the Smartest Flat Earther. It is sarcastic, so he's not suggesting from watching the first 2 minutes of sweary nonsense ad hominems, which we will be skipping past and getting into the meat and potatoes of the responses he's giving to the comments he's got from flat earthers after baiting them. So that's enough summary to justify spinning on through the first 2 minutes, and we'll get into it. But as is always the case, please let this videographer Jay know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment. Now, by chance, Huey actually went through in fine detail the comments that yesterday's Flat Earth debate audience indulged in when they went to the videographer, I can't remember his name, Hernandez something, and left comments to say exactly this. Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, he did a response video, it'd be great if you left a link to his video, sharing the YouTube love. You know, all the right things were said by what was then described as cult-like behaviour by Bullbuster's panel, hopefully in sarcasm, because it is precisely what I ask you to do, and I am eternally grateful to those of you who do that. And I made that clear yesterday on QE's live stream as we went through the comments. So if you did happen to make a comment yesterday, I bet you're pleased with yourself, because we'd have critiqued it on QE's live stream on, I think he just calls it QE Live. So anyway, let the videographer know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, as I just suggested, the idea being that were he to make a response, he'd put a link to my video. Now, as was the case on Monday, this particular videographer happens to be smaller than us. So it's normally the case that we're the smaller videographer making response videos to larger ones, but in the last couple of cases, it hasn't been the case. That is to say that they, as I would have done, will genuinely value your interaction with their video. It will help them and assist them in the YouTube algorithmic love that I appeal to when we are dealing with larger YouTubers. Well, in this instance, we are the larger YouTuber. We are the larger community, and you can actually make a difference to this videographer, regardless of whether or not we agree with him, from a YouTube perspective only, not from a flat earth perspective. He and you, the audience, will find out how we regard his general sentiments towards flat earth as we get through this video. But hopefully that's bought enough time for, or I should have put the chat up, for the chat to actually have toddled along to his video and let him know in the nicest, politest possible way. At Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a comment that hopefully doesn't get immediately eradicated by the YouTube bots and doesn't cause any offence to Jay, so he's inclined to leave it and not delete it because you've been sweary and rude. So just leave him a polite comment, and hopefully that's enough time for you to have done that. I mean that sincerely. If you are actually in the live audience, why is there only 55 people watching? That's terrible. How long have we been live? Oh, we've only been live 10 minutes. Fair enough. Please share the show. There's only 55 people watching. That's terrible. Hopefully we'll get a bigger audience as we get into this video. So was there anything anybody wanted to add before we did get into it?
Yeah, just say you'll need your fallacy bingo cards and lots of pens.
Lots of what? Tens?
Pens or pencils.
Oh, pens.
Your preference.
Okay, yeah, well, and if you're a globe believer, get your crayons out, I suppose. Right, let's get into it.
Doesn't show any of the documents, doesn't leak any of the documents. I want to read those documents. Please provide evidence. That's not evidence. The second law of thermodynamics says outer space is fake. That's not what the second law of thermodynamics says. The second law of thermodynamics states that the state of entropy in the entire universe as an isolated system will always increase over time.
Yeah, therefore gas with a description of entropic dispersion would fill space. Now, granted, the guy who's giving you that message hasn't made that explicitly clear. I would describe the principle before the second law as the citation, if you will, to back that assertion. If the sky was a vacuum, the gas we breathe would fill the space. This is described by the second law of thermodynamics. Entropy, gas dispersion.
The second law also states that the changes in entropy in the universe can never be negative. How the...
Yeah, so once gas disperses into space, it's never going to come back. As MIT, was it Yale? I forget which, described it. It's like perfume getting out of the bottle. Once it comes out, you're not going to get it back in again. Yeah? Like the genie. Once it's out, that's it. Yeah, that's entropy. Goes in one direction. Otherwise known as the arrow of time. Yeah? Notice how we were talking about time in the pre-show, if you've been listening as a continuation, when we were talking about the superseding of Newtonian mass-attracting mass with Einsteinian bent pseudo-Riemannian fourth-dimensional space-time. Okay? The bending and warping of time doesn't exist. It's conceptual and invented by Einstein. Meanwhile, how things, if you will, decay, disperse, spread out, that's entropy.
How the fuck does that imply outer space is fake? This is just another baseless assertion.
Not baseless assertion. If you understood what you just read, yeah? Entropy. When you're talking about gas and how it would fill a space, that's dispersion. That's entropic dispersion.
You absolute fucking moron.
No, you didn't comprehend what you read when you looked it up. Here we go, he's clarifying it.
You can't have gas pressure next to a vacuum.
That's pretty clear. You're saying it's a baseless assertion. He cited you the second law of thermodynamics. It explained entropic principles. And now he's explained it in terms of how that affects you with your sky vacuum belief. Why would you call the guy stupid? Anybody feel that the commenter did a bad job? I was going to say he did until it was clarified exactly how I would. Gas would fill the space. Can't have gas next to a vacuum. What's wrong with that? Anybody pick flaw with the commenter? Or is it just this guy's dumb? Go with dumb then. You're just dumb. You don't understand what you read when you looked up the second law of thermodynamics.
You can't have gas pressure next to a vacuum.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. What do you think would happen? Gas would fill space.
Even if the world was flat?
Sorry, even if the world was flat? No, you've got a sky vacuum belief. You suggesting that what? Flat earthers also have a sky vacuum belief that would be debunked by this?
Yes.
If you like.
There would still be a vacuum.
No, there wouldn't. It would still be a second law of thermodynamics violation. So your response is to say, well, your vacuum wouldn't work either. But he's not even saying that. He's saying your vacuum must also violate a law of nature. Therefore, two wrongs make a right. You've also got a sky vacuum. No, I haven't. What are you babbling about? I don't really understand this attempt to package up a false dichotomy to present the failure on the flat earth side as a reason to justify there being a sky vacuum. You believe in one too? Okay. No, we don't. We understand the principles of dispersion, entropy.
Next to the flat earth.
No, mate. No, that would also be a second law of thermodynamics violation. Gas would fill space.
You can collect $200,000 if you prove Earth's spin or curve. Please link me how I could collect that $200,000. I would love to have that. No.
Well, hold on. Where's your evidence that we spin? Is that it? I would love to have 200 grand. Give me the contact information. Well, how would you prove it? That was the question on the table. How'd you prove it? I mean, we understand that your globe comes with a Coriolis deflection assertion that we can overcome. You don't know that.
No one has ever proved this, ever. I'm pretty sure this person spends the entirety of their online life.
Sorry, this isn't a response to what he put to you. Or she. This is an ad hominem. You're about to describe what this person is, having never met them. It's just a commenter.
In fringe internet Facebook flat earth groups. Now,
What? Sorry, you've divined the social habits of a random comment. Okay. Clown show? That's a comment. You think you know where he's spending his social media time, or her? You have no idea. You're a clown. Why are you doing this other than to make yourself look incredibly stupid?
NASA uses green screens and CGI to fool people into their spinning ball religion. There's no proof.
What? They declare it themselves on their own documentation. What are you talking about? Furthermore, everything that NASA do is debunked by what you glossed over because you didn't understand. That'd be entropic dispersion. Gas fills space. All of NASA's claimed pictures from that area where gas should be, would be, and would be directed to the second law of thermodynamics as you already read it, to know why every single image is fake. If they were taking pictures from a vacuum, because they've traversed the high-pressure gas we're breathing, the high-pressure gas would do the same. Just follow them into that area of volume. We'd never develop gas pressure, because it'd have nothing to press on.
Please provide proof. You're just asserting that. NASA has air bubbles in their outer space videos because it's filmed underwater to fake weightlessness. Please prove that. That is...
Okay, I mean, fair enough, it's the flat earther making the assertion. It's easy enough to demonstrate that they've got, I've forgotten the official name that NASA give their big massive tank that's got an ISS in it, but they have got underwater tanks with an ISS in it that they train in, and they make that openly public, you know, hiding the truth in plain sight. That's how they fake space. How do I know that's how they fake space? Prove that that's how they're faking it. Well, because there is no Narnia, there is no sky vacuum to be on an ISS in the same manner that they film underwater, for a fact. So if there's no outer space to have an ISS in, it's just a twinkling light. But not in a sky vacuum with men in tin cans. The only men in tin cans are underwater in a massive pool. Deep submersion, something or other. They openly admit to it. Do your research a bit better. Why are you telling the flat earther to prove that? You need to prove there is a sky vacuum. You've never been. You have to take the word of your priests, who operate in an area that violates natural law.
Is another assertion. You're not providing evidence. You're just saying people are doing things.
Amazon Prime Big Deal Days are here. 2 days of epic deals.
Wires and harnesses to fake weightlessness so people believe in their outer space religion. Again, you have no evidence to support that. Every picture of outer space is a fake cartoon image that NASA admits is fake.
Yeah, I wouldn't take that as a decent standard from the commenter. So every picture from a place that cannot possibly exist, because we'd all be choking with no gas to breathe, is fake. If you can travel to a vacuum to take pictures of high pressure gas on a blue marble, not filling the space you're in, taking pictures, that's a straight up second law of thermodynamics violation. Gas fills space.
Please provide evidence that NASA admits that every picture of outer space is a cartoon image.
I mean, I could offer you that. I mean, I don't use this standard or cover NASA. I'm not interested in what liars have to say about a place that isn't real. But I used to be, I still am, subscribed to Science at NASA. And they disclaim that the images they provide you are not pictures. They make it abundantly clear in the bottom left-hand corner of all of the images that they provide that it's a artist rendition, artist representation, CGI rendering. They disclaim it all the time. Yeah? Now you're telling the flat earther he needs to prove that NASA say they fake this stuff. Well, they do. But it doesn't change how we would argue about it. We would point out that anything claimed to have come from Narnia, I mean sky vacuum, is automatically fake because there isn't one. There's no giant area above our heads that gas at pressure isn't filling. It's like saying, put pressure around the rim of this wheel. Don't bother with the tyre. I don't need anything to contain that gas pressure. It can just be at a much higher pressure and not fill the space around it. So just put the high pressure gas around the rim of the wheel. Forget the tyre. No, you absolutely require containment to produce a gas pressure differential in the tyre. It's going to press on the tyre. What's our pressure pressing on? A vacuum? No, that would be an area it would fill instantly. Furthermore, we'd have never developed gas pressure in the first place. The first particle of gas in a heliocentric ball Earth world of fantasy orbital motion would come out of the ground, travel in whatever vector it was travelling, and never return. Like in the description of entropy, you won't get the perfume back in the bottle. Yeah. The gas would come out the ground, go into space, and that would be it. It would never press on anything. There's no tyre around Earth in your bullshit world of ball Earth in sky vacuum.
Please provide evidence. NASA steals $60 million a day from you to shoot helium balloon rockets and satellites into the ocean.
I think it's 67, actually.
Air bubbles in space, green screens, hairspray and hair to fake zero G.
I don't know where he's got these arguments, but they're crap. No. The reasons and wherefores and logistics of faking space shouldn't be used as a debunking of space. Space itself, where the woman with the hairspray sprayed up, so, you know, they can easily explain away that if you put that to them as a standard. Why is the woman with hairspray on harnesses with green screens necessary? Well, because there is no area above our heads that is 10 to the minus 17 tall. There is no sky vacuum. So they absolutely must fake it. But the minute you know why they'd have to fake it, that would be that there is no area above our heads to go to in rockets, because so would all the gas we're breathing. You stop concerning yourself with how they faked it. It becomes inconsequential. You know they're faking it. How they do it with green screens and all, I couldn't care less. Yeah, they're not in a place that isn't real. There's no sky vacuum.
So, the videos of the astronauts on the International Space Station, that's not zero G. That's just somebody with hairspray.
Yeah, that's why it's a crap standard. No, the claim is that they're in an area of volume looking back at high-pressure gas on a blue marble that's not filling the black vacuum. Just high-pressure gas chilling out, not expanding in line with entropic law. Yeah, the gas comes out of the ground, goes up really high and goes, oh, you know what, I'm going to go back down again. Like perfume coming out of a bottle and going, sod this, I'm going to go back in. Yeah, defiance of the second law of thermodynamics, my friend.
Yeah, it's just hairspray, so their hair gets all frizzy. Actronauts on wires and harnesses. All government and military design documents assume a flat and non-rotating Earth.
Yeah, the flat and non-rotating Earth assumption for NASA and aviation documents is absolutely true and could be cited. But it doesn't really negate the fact that the crap standard that came before it was green screens and harnesses. No, that's the how. How they fake it is green screen and harnesses. Why they fake it is always going to be a more pertinent question. Yeah? Watch Tomorrow, what is it? Tomorrow Never Comes, or Die Another Day, or something like that. There's a James Bond film where the villain of the movie is a media mogul. Like, guy runs newspapers, and he's just controlling the world through propaganda. And he explains that the who and the what and the where, they're not the important part of the story. Why is always going to be the most important part of the story. In this instance, how has taken precedent over why. Why do they have green screens? Why do they spray their hair? Well, because they need to pretend they're in a place that doesn't exist. That's why they fake it. And when you know why they fake it, how they fake it becomes a lot less interesting, doesn't it?
Pilots admit it's flat. Please provide evidence. Emergency.
Oh, we've got pitch data. Yeah, it's documented as measured flat for aviation, above the horizontal plane of reference in terms of pitch. Yeah, we can prove Earth's flat.
Flight paths make no sense on a globe and make perfect sense on a flat Earth. No, they.
Well, no, they don't, because when you say make sense on a flat Earth, which map would you be referencing for a flat Earth? They're all globe projections that have come from latitude and longitude circles of equal elevation measured off a flat Earth, projected onto a globe. In the case of the Mercator, projected out onto a cylinder and then rolled out flat. So you're going to tell me that that's an accurate flat Earth map? No, I'm not going to buy that. No, it's all part of the deception in that regard. We've got globe projections, not globe maps. It wouldn't work with areas of equal elevation. It wouldn't work with flat Earth angle measurements to the stars. So all the maps have got to be flat so they function with a flat Earth. But they're all distorted because of their globe projection nature, not because of there being inaccurate flat Earth maps. They're all flat.
They don't. That's retarded. You're wrong.
Right, all maps are flat, Dumdum.
And I could say that, and you're going to ask me, okay, what's your evidence? What's your evidence?
Flight data in terms of the pitch data, elevation angles that created the maps, latitude and longitude grid, also part of the systems that are used on maps. Celestial navigation, surveying, all of it deals with a flat Earth. The horizon itself is used to establish a horizontal plane of reference. Everything that you ever describe in terms of altitude will always be described from sea level, a horizontal plane of reference to give you the altitude, with a description of linear feet in height or linear distance in miles or kilometers along a flat ground. Everything you ever reference ever will be with respect to a flat Earth, son. Maybe you should look into this subject a little bit more. You're over a bum smacked by me, Nathan Oakley, a flat earther who knows how Earth is measured.
All you're doing when all you do is make baseless assertions in a comment section, the only thing that I need to do to counter those assertions
is what? Fail to comprehend the second law of thermodynamics and entropic principles, because it wasn't baseless. You had a citation that you had to go and look up, Dumdum. Now you're saying it's baseless? I tell you what, why don't you just make it up? Make up what they didn't give you and you had to look up.
It's just say, no, you, Uno reverse card. No, those are wrong. Flat Earth is openly censored by the government. Yes, something that isn't scientific, it isn't proven in any way, shape, or form, it has absolutely no evidence, has...
Really? What about what I just detailed? Your globe would not exist if it wasn't for the flat Earth elevation angle measurements that created the Polaris-centric grid on that globe. Where do you think your lines of latitude on your globe come from? But for the fact that we measure Earth flat with elevation angles to those stars that we use for navigation, you wouldn't have a globe. The globe comes from flat Earth measurements. Every measurement of Earth is flat.
No benefit or value to society. And
no, just you serve a benefit if you're kept under control. That's what this is all about. Control. You need to be kept under it. And one of the methods that they do it with is with the one world religion of heliocentrism, where you have been trained to believe in a model that was created by the Roman Catholic Church about 500 years ago. Not even a model. You couldn't even call it that. It's a mathematical inference that gives them a better understanding of where the stars will be in the sky. Has absolutely no bearing on the reified version of that religion that you believe in. You're kept under control with that religion, like any religion. That's what they're for. This religion is just a religion that the majority of people are unaware they have. And when you tell them, like I'm telling you, about your religion of heliocentrism given to you by the Roman Catholic Church, you'll brace against it. It's not a religion, it's real. We are on a globe. Where'd you get the measurements? I'll tell you, from a flat earth, that's where.
In any way, shape, or form is censored by the government. And the reality is the government really doesn't care about flat earthers.
Why would Congress approach Google specifically about their YouTube coverage and algorithmic favoritism that was being offered when people showed an overt interest in this subject? Why would Congress demand that they did something about it? And why would YouTube make it overtly clear publicly that they would and will and are censoring us? Oh, they don't have any interest other than to go to Google specifically to tell them to do something about us? You clown. You have no idea what you're babbling about, do you?
They don't give a shit about it.
Other than sitting in front of Google and telling them to do something about it, they don't give a shit. Yeah, they do, son. They absolutely do, because we're a threat to the control they have over you. That's what we are. That's why we're censored. It's always about the why. We expose the religious control they have over you. So you need to be protected from us. Why? Well, because we challenge the control that they have over you with the religion that you believe in. And here you are vehemently defending it, in spite of your Dunning-Kruger total ignorance of the subject. You didn't even understand entropy after looking up a 2-sentence description of it on Google.
About any of you, okay? You are
Stockholm syndrome.
made.
Yeah, he loves his abusers. Yeah, you do, don't you? You don't want to accept any responsibility to look into whether or not what you've been told is true. You'd rather throw it back at your opponent who's telling you why it isn't. Admittedly, with not the greatest of standards. But you prove it. Your flat earth would have a vacuum. Oh, really? Everybody's under the same misapprehensions of sky vacuums as you are they? What a zealot.
Fun of by everyone because of how silly you are. They don't need to censor that. People
Yeah, they do, and they have, dumbass. They don't need to. Why have they then, Dumbo?
just don't listen to you.
Except you are, and you're making a response video about it. That's self-contradictory. You're smug about the fact that you've just contradicted the entire video that you're making. What an idiot. I just made a really contradictory statement. Nobody's listening. Other than me making a video about you and how I don't appreciate that Congress has been told, or has told, Google to do something about flat earthers on YouTube. And YouTube, Google, have responded and said, no worries, we'll censor them. And if people happen to find them, we'll put a little tag under their video that says it's all wrong.
If you were to have a microphone in front of millions of people, nobody would listen and the government wouldn't need to do anything about it.
Just ignorance, isn't he? You're dumb as shit, mate. You have no idea of the situation, do you?
NASA means to deceive in Hebrew. I'm going to fact check you on this, okay? Asa, to beguile, deceive.
Oh my God. If somebody was making this crappy standard on our show, they'd get in trouble, wouldn't they? Let's be honest. So what?
He is correct, though.
And NASA, which is an acronym, is actually a Hebrew word, or is it an acronym?
The latter.
So it's an acronym. So this is just a coincidence then?
Deceive.
Possibly.
Stray.
Not possibly, factually. It's not a Hebrew name they've ascribed to themselves.
Delude. This is true. It does mean to deceive in Hebrew. But at the same time, what does that prove?
Nothing. First sensible thing you've said so far.
That doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't. You're absolutely right.
Okay? That means literally nothing. I'm going to...
Okay, yeah, well, I mean, I think if we make the same point 3 times, it strengthens it greatly. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. And, moving on.
make the assumption, like, let's say that everything that you are saying is correct. There's a secret government organization, or maybe not so secret, but there is a global conspiracy to suppress that the world isn't flat, okay?
Global conspiracy to suppress that the world isn't flat. Yeah, that's precisely what we have. It's called heliocentrism. It was invented 500 years ago. It came to pass by commission, if you will, of the Roman Catholic Church. Their own mathematicians charged with better predicting where the stars would line up. And out-of-the-box thinking led to spherical Earth and elliptical orbital motion with time. That's what we have now. These are all invented by mathematicians. You think you're standing on that sphere, though. Where did that sphere come from? What did they use to create it, you may ask? No, you're not asking that. You're too dumb to ask those sorts of questions. Anyway, we asked them and got answers. And the answers were flat Earth elevation angles to the stars that they were being charged with making better predictions of. And the heliocentric Copernican model was the answer to that question. Where will they be at what time? Doesn't mean we're standing on a ball. It means that you've got some out-of-the-box thinking from some very smart mathematicians to try and better predict a one singular system for the movement of the lights in the sky when they're multiple separate systems. I mean, it's fair play on them. They did a pretty good job. But it doesn't mean you're standing on the reifiable version of those mathematics, derived from flat Earth principles. It would violate the principles that give you the calculations. The principles of the measurements are flat. You're measuring a flat Earth to create these derivations of orbital motions and sphere Earths. I don't expect you to even comprehend my summary of it, let alone go through the arduous task of researching it. I doubt you understood my summary, son, right? Lost you halfway through, no doubt.
That the world's a globe, and NASA's in on it, and all the world governments are in on it, okay? Why would they make these little, NASA actually, guys, what should we name our government agency in charge of faking and leading the propaganda?
Who cares? This is called an appeal to motivation fallacy. Does it matter why they say they go to an area that doesn't exist? Does it matter? Oh, Bob round the corner says he goes to Narnia regularly. He says he does have a portal to Narnia in his wardrobe. Okay, but Narnia's not real, right? No, I know Narnia's not real, and you know Narnia's not real, but Bob round the corner says he goes to it regularly through his wardrobe. Okay, now there's 2 ways we can attack what Bob tells us about going through his wardrobe to Narnia. 1, we can question his motivation to lie about it, or 2, recognise he's a nutter who is lying because there is no Narnia to go to. Now, likewise, with your astronauts that you believe in, because you're not going to the sky vacuum, are you? You're not going through the wardrobe, son. But they are, according to them. Why would they lie? Who cares? There is no sky vacuum to be in. Their motivation to lie to you is kind of inconsequential. I know they are lying. There is no sky vacuum to be in.
Well, let's just secretly make it to deceive in Hebrew, okay? That would be like Walter White, okay, going to cook meth in an RV, but instead of in the desert, he does it in a Walmart parking lot. And instead of being inconspicuous about it, he puts, "This is not a meth lab," out front of the RV. So when the police roll by, they go, wait a second, that doesn't seem right.
Okay, that seems like a pretty crap comparison.
If all of everything that you're saying is true.
It's not really like a neon sign outside a Walmart when you had to look it up and fact check something that you'd never heard prior to a commenter that you divined their social habits from. You hadn't even considered it. Is that equivalent to you seeing meth lab in Walmart's parking spaces? Really? You hadn't even considered it. It's a false comparison fallacy.
NASA meaning to deceive in Hebrew is by...
Because something you considered all the time, right? It was so glaring over like a neon sign in Walmart to you. No, dumbass, you only just read this in a comments section.
Far the stupidest and goofiest thing NASA could have done if they actually were trying to deceive you. NASA has...
No, NASA are deceiving you. They claim to be in a second law of thermodynamics violation sky vacuum. Why would they give you green screens? Because there is no sky vacuum.
666 in their math everywhere. It's almost like 666 is a fucking number. NASA has a lot of numbers in their math.
Yeah, this is a crap standard from crappy flat earthers who don't appreciate the power of a dispersion description in the second law. Yeah, gas fills space. That's it. End of your sky vacuum.
Every picture of space is a literal cartoon image that NASA admits is fake. You repeated this from your other comment too. I don't know if you just copy pasted this because you're that lazy and stupid. But again, you don't have any proof. And then you did copy and paste the first comment that I already made a video about. And then finally, gravity has never been proven, never detected, never observed. You need to prove against all other rationale that the reason an object drops is uniquely the act of gravity and nothing else. You know what's funny about this comment?
They don't understand that there's no phenomena. They've invoked it on behalf of the opponent, described that all things go down, and it asked him to explain it after claiming there isn't a phenomena in a long-winded way. Okay, if you're claiming there's no phenomena, why ask him to justify why things go down? Now, in the reality that we actually exist in, nothing's going down. As I sit here, nothing is going down, actually. I'll lie, it's raining. I wonder how the clouds got up there. What with all things going down? With the force of gravity pulling everything down? So the gas and its mass gets pulled to the centre of Earth, does it? No, it doesn't. It expands from the ground upwards. But not all things go down. But the commenter is telling him there's no phenomena, but then asking him to justify half of the effects that we observe in the medium that we reside in. Like, not all things go down in this medium. In a different medium, things behave very differently again. Start describing how things behave in water, for example. A different medium. It's medium specific. But furthermore, and more critically, not all things go down. So why are you asking him to justify it, commenter?
Somebody literally linked him a proof. You have to prove how all matter attracts all other matter indefinitely and how that concept is why things fall. Helium balloons disprove gravity.
Yeah. So if you're going to suggest that mass is attracted to the greater mass, then a helium balloon necessarily must go down. It doesn't. Same with clouds. Your gravity is a downward bias at 9.8 meters per second. That's what you have as your claimed downward bias. That's what gravity is. In your high school education, I'm not going to get into fourth dimensional space-time building. You're far too stupid to understand any of that. Yeah, laugh it up. He's debunked gravity. If mass attracts mass, then helium balloon must go down, right?
Bumblebees disprove gravity. Did you watch the beginning of Bee Movie and seriously think that we have no explanation for why bees fly?
According to all known laws of aviation, there is no way that a bee should be able to fly. Its wings are too small to get its fat little body off the ground.
And support their body weight, it's why they fly. Gravity is escape.
They're supporting their body weight on the air that they're moving through, right? So is that air going down, go boom boom, for the bumblebee to push on? Is the mass of the air going down, son? What's the bumblebee pushing on again? The gas that's going down, go boom boom, go splash splash? No, it isn't, is it? It's coming out of the ground and going up, facilitating the bee's flight through the air that's going up. Yeah, there's no factories in the sky producing gases. Yeah, they're all produced at ground level and go up. What are you going to do? Drop a microphone and ask me why all things go down, you total clown?
scapegoat for all things that can't be explained. The only problem is one of my subscribers linked to you evidence of an experiment that could be replicated in your fucking basement.
Right, an experiment? Do you want to link us to it? Are we going to get to see this? What's it showing?
That proves gravity exists.
But you can't prove there's a downward bias. Not all things go down. There's a reason it was superseded 109 years ago. The idea that you were taught in high school, yeah, because they don't teach you the full story. They don't respect you to give you the full story. So as you went through your high school education about gravity, you were told that mass attracts mass. Wrong. Superseded 109 years ago by Einsteinian bent fourth-dimensional space-time. Not they told you that or taught you that. They taught you something that's wrong. Mass doesn't attract mass. The mass of the air isn't being attracted to the mass of the Earth. You total buffoon. You think that you're going to prove mass attracts mass in a basement? Number one, if you're performing the scientific method, step one is to observe a phenomena. What's the phenomena? Well, things going down. Looks up at clouds. That's the end of that phenomena. Clown. That demonstrates that you don't understand what science is either. Shout out to Unitox Femu. Says eucalyptus produce gas and growing up. Okay, well, thank you very much for the super chat. 107 people watching. Please share the show if you've not done so already. Smash the super chat to support this channel.
Although, I can't help but notice, but you completely ignored that. What can you prove? What do you know about...
Are we not going to get to see the proof, see? Is that it? He put a link! We win! Well, what was in the link? Was it a naturally occurring phenomena of mass attracting mass? No, gas doesn't do that. Gas doesn't go down, go boom, boom. What would the bumblebee press on if it was just pooling of puddles of gas? Gas doesn't do that.
About Earth? Nothing. Very, very telling from a person who wrote multiple paragraphs in a YouTube comment section like an internet keyboard warrior and did the exact thing that he criticizes me for doing. You provided no proof. You provided no evidence. You didn't link anything that supports your...
Sorry, you did. Sorry, show me mass attracting mass. Oh, it was superseded 109 years ago by Einstein. It doesn't. But you only had a high school education, didn't you, son? So you have no idea about pseudo-Riemannian bent space-time geometry, do you? You think mass attracts mass? All things go down. No, gas does not do that. Even after looking up entropic dispersion, you still don't comprehend it. It's beyond your pay grade, son. You're just too dumb. But I don't mind monetizing you. I don't mind getting super chats off your dumb ass. No worries, I can monetize stupidity. No worries. Thank you so much for demonstrating your Dunning-Kruger idiocy for my paying audience. Smash the super chat to support this channel. In case you're wondering why I'm being overly egregious with my e-begging with regards to this dick, it's because this guy, at the beginning of the 2-minute swearfest, told us how he was farming views from idiot flat earthers. Oh, really? Well, I'm monetizing your dumb ass, son.
Claims. All you did was make baseless assertions that made you look extremely silly.
Same claim he made last time, mate. Baseless assertion. No, he cited second law of thermodynamics. What you've done is said he linked a proof of gravity and you didn't show it. That's a baseless assertion. The link proves it, does it? No, that's just a hyperlink. Doesn't prove jack. Now, if you'd have clicked on it and explained how we have a natural phenomena that defies gas behaviour, hence superseded 109 years ago, then maybe you'd have had a point. But no, what you've done is used a baseless assertion, haven't you, you complete clown? That's projection. Shout out to Sensual Goat for gifting a membership. Really appreciate the support.
And goofy, and everybody thinks lesser of you because of it. If you are a representation of the flat earth community...
Flat earth community? What? Earth's measured flat. Now, I, Nathan Oakley 1980, have a YouTube community that I have built, and I've built it around putting out information about the way the world is measured. Flat. Now, that's not a flat Earth community. There are grifters out there who like to ascribe that title to themselves, but more often than not, they don't even know Earth's flat. Now, us, it's the other way around. yeah, I'd happily call myself a flat earther, but not because I formed that description through the community that I've built on YouTube. Earth is flat. That's how it's measured. Your globe faith comes from those measurements. So it has no bearing on any community standards when we're talking about flat earthers or flat eartherism. It's inconsequential. It doesn't make any difference if I was the only person saying it and nobody agreed. We'd still measure Earth flat.
You have collectively made everybody from the flat earth community look worse.
Not really. You cited the second law of thermodynamics. You just didn't understand it.
And because I've made this video about you, more flat earthers are going to come to my channel.
Yeah, they will. You can be damn sure of that, son. Yeah, please let Jay know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment that alludes to the fact that we covered his video and pointed out how stupid he is. No, don't tell him that. I'll just remove your comment immediately. Yeah? So, yeah, you will. Yeah, you definitely attracted some attention. But you'll probably get a few people actually explaining how the second law of thermodynamics, dispersion of gas into vacuums, applies to your fundamentalist religious faith in a ball earth sky vacuum Copernican religious belief that you hold. That's what you'll find out from the flat earthers that flood your comment section. Letting you know I sent them. Shout out to Unisox Femi again for the super chat. Really appreciate the support. It says, we are in sea level and natural law community. Yeah, things that aren't contentious. I mean, we're not forming... I know you... I can appreciate your sentiment, Unisox Femi, and thank you for the super chat. But you don't base communities on knowing how the ground's measured. I mean, there might be a group of you that know how the ground's measured, but is that basis of a community? I mean, you could say that. And like I say, there's grifters out there that base their entire identity on being like Flat Earth Dave. Oh, well, okay, well, I mean, good for them, more power to them, but I just know Earth's measured flat. Thank you for the super chat. Oop, wrong button.
Harvesting you for content. You took the bait. You call me a lazy YouTuber? You're correct. Do you think I have all day to make videos about you?
No, you just got time to spew out a few searches that you do based on comments you don't understand. Derive the, social habits on Facebook of the commenter and make yourself look incredibly stupid. Have you got time to do research and make yourself look intelligent? No, and you'll self-confess that, won't you, Dumbo? What, you're going to hang it out there like it's a badge? Look how little research I did. Think I've got time to make myself look intelligent? No, I'd rather look like a thicko.
When one only has a few hours a day after working to make videos, they can't be that high quality.
No shit. You made yourself look incredibly stupid. Well done. Yeah, time well spent, I'd say, son. Because it certainly, it certainly was monetized by me. Yeah? But whether or not it made you look, intellectually superior to a flat earther, it may be in your mind. To me and my audience, though, it's pretty obvious just how stupid you are. By demonstration and examples, pulling apart the words you actually say. With examples, citations, proof, measurements, laws of nature, things like that.
Especially if I'm doing these daily. So I've definitely taken shortcuts with my content, and I'm going to continuously harvest content from the Flat Earth community.
Oh, great. Well, if you end up responding to me, be sure to do the exact same, service that I've done for you as a smaller YouTuber. That is to say, make sure you put a link to my video. When you come back and go, I've done no research, but gas does go down, go boom, boom, go splash, splash. Therefore gravity and everything's cushy. Yeah, we'll see how your 2 hours of research combat 10 years of actual dedication to this subject. Yeah, we'll see how you get on, son, as you farm my views. Enjoy the views and comments from my audience, son. I'm sure they'll be really complimentary to your fantastic intellectual prowess.
As long as you Neanderthals continue to comment on my channel. And I enjoy them. I enjoy reading them. I appreciate you for being here.
You do? Yeah, well, when some of my audience explain how you fail to comprehend the second law of thermodynamics, I'm sure you'll make another video saying, that's just a baseless assertion.
EMAP is fake. Thank you for giving me another video. I genuinely appreciate you.
Oh, and thank you, Jay. I really appreciate it as well.
I hope you have a beautiful day.
My God, figure out how to get your audio levels in check, mate. Ugh, woof. Okay, like I say, please let Jay know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment that doesn't flag the YouTube censor bots, doesn't get Jay to get his heckles up and start removing your comment by his own volition. But please let him know that I sent him along. Maybe point out some of his failings in his 2 hours of research to farm YouTube comments. Talk about an epic backfire. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. That was great fun, Liam. Really appreciate the share.
It was indeed.
Any comments from anyone in Discord? Yes, Nathan, we really enjoyed it. So glad you... Oh, well, I'm glad you all enjoyed me covering it. Glad you're all so enthusiastic to put your 2 pennyworth in. Well, I'll just do a bit of e-begging. I just had a massive car bill for like 400 quid. So if anyone wants to hit me up on PayPal, Ko-Fi, become a Patreon, this would be the right time to do it. Why not do some e-begging off the back of Jay? What day is it today? Wednesday.
I'm sure he'd appreciate it.
Yeah, like I say, I would appreciate a few comments and views, and whether or not people like his video, you know, I don't know, but the YouTube algorithm doesn't seem to favour likes and dislikes as much as it used to, so that's not necessarily that important. He's getting more views, that's for sure. That's what he wanted, right? He said, oh, I look forward to getting your comments. Well, I'm sure my audience will satisfy that need. Great stuff. Got at least one more video to cover tomorrow, and then we're in politics on Friday. How can we get the politics shows to do better?
What, in
literally,
terms of numbers or on the day?
On the day, on the live stream, they typically have like usual, like same as we've got now. We've got 120 people watching, right? On the politics show, we'll have the same 120, 130 people watching. But then after they go live, YouTube seemed to vanish them for 12 hours. And even on my own front page of my channel, if you go to the live tab and try and press on the video, it doesn't click. Tap it and tap it and tap it, and it doesn't come up. And then 12 hours later, it'll appear in the feed. And you're like, well, there's a reasonable amount of interest that's lost when you're making daily videos if they don't get to appear in the lists of your own subscribers for 12 hours. But it just seems to be the politics show that they do that to. I don't know why. They just don't like promoting it. So after a day and a half, it'll end up with like 600 to 800 views versus 900 to 1,000. And you're like, why? Anyway, I'll have to figure something out. You know, I can only do so much e-begging for shares, right? And the audience is fairly dedicated in that regard anyway. They'll all share the show when you ask them to. Thank you so much to all of you who do share the show. Thank you for sharing this show. It's the only reason we've got 100 plus people watching. If it wasn't for the people who smash the share button on a regular basis, we wouldn't have the decent live audience that we do.
Did they ever fix the stage in politics?
No, they're missing a mod to actually set the pages up. So the person who was moderating the Flat Earth section of politics left, meaning that they had no person to set up a stage. So whether or not they've resolved that, I don't know. Not that it made any difference to the view count either. So it's not like that well-organised show we did 2 weeks ago on a stage with organised questions. It's not like that suddenly had more views. In fact, it was even worse in terms of its performance. But it was an exceptional show. You know what I'm talking about? The one 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, it was properly slick. Information rich. Several, maybe half a dozen or more questions that were answered. But yeah, they're the least popular shows of the week. Now, it might just be that people just prefer us doing like we did today, video responses, rather than actual debate. So if that's just the way it is, I mean, people like the Omi videos more than they like the video responses. So go figure. Anyway, any more comments? If not, I'm going to round out and ask people to stay tuned on an after show. Any more for any more? No? With that, I'll say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow.
I don't know, dude, but I'm with you. He was repulsive. I couldn't stand him.
Let me guess, you're talking about
Wait, that's not
McToon.
the guy you just did.
Yeah.
Oh, the guy we just covered?
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, you thought he was repulsive? Yeah, he was proper
Yeah.
scuzzy.
Yeah, he was obnoxious.
Like a used car salesman.
He's afraid.
That same smug attitude that we hear from so many Globers. That guy was just the poster child of that.
I forgot about him almost as soon as we stopped covering him. Was he? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was pretty bad, man. Very forgettable though, so that's understandable. Just blends right in with the rest of them.
What can you do? They're all like that now. I mean, just panicky and angry.
What was his channel name?
Just a J.
The J.
Just the letter J on its own. All one word.
Let's see. Capital J.
Bet you can't find him with that. That's a crap channel name.
I'm just getting J. Cole, whoever the hell that is.
Right.
Oh, the letter J song.
Yeah, I don't see how you're gonna find it with one letter.
Well, it just shows he's retarded.
Yeah. On the other hand, it doesn't really matter what his channel name is. If he can make consistent anti-flat Earth videos, he'll tap into that algorithm. You don't have to make good content to tap into that algorithm. You just have to say flat Earth stupid, and your video will do well.
Yeah, he just has to copy and paste the last video he just did. Just change his outfit and make several different videos all doing the same thing, and he'll be fine.
Yeah, basically. That'll be preferred content.
And then eventually, when you type in your name on YouTube, he'll pop up first.
Yeah, precisely. That is exactly how it works.
Oh, well.
We sarcastically go in and say flat Earth is stupid and start laying out how it's measured flat sarcastically.
Go rogue.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Try and... Why? I don't like that. I shouldn't have to say, my product's rubbish, but here's how it's secretly really, really good. But no one likes me saying that it's really good, so I've got to tell you it's rubbish first, so I can tell you... No, sod that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Know what you do and why you do it, and, you know, I'm not pander to this algorithm that's censored us. In a way, I can ascribe the community dedication to me and my cause financially directly to the fact that we've been censored. People saw it and went, that's not going to do any of the people who are making videos any good. And they've recognised that I need financial support as a result of that. And I've got it for years and years and years. It's kept me going. Now, if I'd have not been censored and I had double the, like Brian was suggesting, double the subscriber count for the sake of argument, still a good chance that that wouldn't keep me afloat. Still too small a channel. But everyone was like, he's doing all right. No one would care. Yeah, he gets out there. People know who he is. Like, yeah, I'm paying the bills. What I'm saying is I'd rather have the dedicated community. Yeah? It means a lot more. So, yes, I do earn YouTube ad revenue, but it doesn't give me goosebumps when I see the YouTube ad revenue at the end of the month. But when someone sends me $20 on PayPal, it just sends the hairs on the back of your neck standing up. 99 times out of 100, it's got a heartfelt message that says, I really want you to continue doing what you're doing. I really appreciate it. That means a lot. Imagine if every hour that you worked for a boss in some corporate job, when they gave you the hourly rate, let's say it's 20 quid an hour, they came down and went, I just want you to know, here's 20 quid for the work that you've just done. You're doing so well. Thank you so much. I really want you to carry on doing just as well as you are. I am so great. Imagine if that was every payment. That's kind of how it is for me. Very encouraging. If you're one of those people, thank you so much.
Well, I understand completely. I meant it as like a one time, like, uh, flat Earth, the stupidest thing ever? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark? Like maybe just get grab the attention for the sake of one specific video, maybe.
Yep. What I find interesting at the moment is the identification of those in this community, both flat and globe, that have a belief that wasn't identified until very recently. We can thank Will Duffy for that. Up until Will Duffy pointing out that we can confirm whether or not our belief's right if we go down to Antarctica. Okay, so you've all got a belief then? None of you know? How very interesting. Better snap to it. Firm that bias. Or not. Yeah, the other thing about having a good community is not just the fiscal reward. It's also the dedication that people give with their time, as in a lot of it. So just recently we joke and jape about writing the book, but lest we forget that the people who are going through that book have dedicated huge swathes of their time to it at their own detriment, right? They don't have to give up their time, and that's what we have of value beyond money. So, same with the people on the panel daily, right? People who come here, they don't have to give up their time to be on the panel, but they do. Same principle. And again, I'm very grateful. Go on, what were you going to say?
No, I was saying I track that logic.
Indeed.
And in return, we get a lot of fun out of it, like today.
Well, you picked that video, so you obviously wanted me to tear a new one off him because he's, a bit of a twat.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's also someone's son. So you have to, see it from both sides. Bit of tough love.
He's
So when
someone's
you call
son.
him son, I think that was a good way of approaching it, calling him son, It's like patting him on the head.
Right, yes. Condescending.
That's what I was gonna say earlier. It seems like he was so young, but he was so arrogant and he knew nothing.
Ah, the tempestuous nature of youth.
Well, when you're born into a world that's already built, you don't have to build it. You take it all for granted.
Yep. So yeah, what we're going to cover tomorrow, do you know? I'm pretty sure Diver and Droid dropped something in there. Oh boy, this clown. Quantum short bus eraser? What the hell? Okay, yeah, we'll cover that tomorrow. Looks like
And
my
it's our once a week Will Duffy video, and it seems to be for the past 3 months.
that doesn't faze me. If he's churning out the videos, I'll happily respond to them.
Has Duffy ever responded himself?
He's got his own little bandwagon to drag around, get people on. He's not interested in doing responses. He's just on the campaign trail to raise money.
He once commented on one of your videos, Nathan, and you asked him to the hypothesis, and then he didn't respond. Somebody else did.
Yeah,
I can't remember what he said though.
Yeah, my first.
Duffy doesn't know what a hypothesis is.
No, he doesn't. Doesn't know what science is.
No, but he knows that you exist, Nathan. So we can't claim ignorance.
I strongly believe
it's weird that they've never had direct contact with you, yet they've gotten contact with Weiss and Jaron and Whitsit and Dave. I mean, who's the other one? They contact all these big YouTube flat earthers, but they never got in touch with you or Quantum. It's funny.
Right. But they'll claim that I've responded and declined something that wasn't even available to be offered to me. Yep, just liars.
Has the number gone up from last month or a couple of months ago in the number of responses people have given you? I remember we brought it up, or you guys brought it up a couple of months ago about, has anyone ever responded to your response videos? Has the number gone up since then?
No, not really. Most people don't know what to do with what we say. And if they're in the slightest bit wise, they wouldn't respond. Now, you can read between the lines that certain people do respond, which is not overt. They don't note the fact that they're... That's why I say, make sure you stick in a link and responding to the fact that us specifically have done the response, right? Whereas Sabine Hosselenfelder has done videos that you could only attribute to reactions to what we have critiqued. She's not going to mention us. Absolutely not. But you can tell by what she's talking about that she's reacting to our critique of her. So there are several other examples like that. But in terms of, has anybody done as I've asked, like the commenters do? Now, I can't expect the dedication of my commenters from the videographer they're commenting on, but have any of them gone, here's a link? Well, yeah, Matthew Learns did it on his second channel that had a couple of thousand subscribers, as opposed to on the channel he originally made the video on, which was 100,000 subscribers. So just being a twat. Like, yeah, I'll put a link to your video on a channel that no one watches. But his response obviously did him no favours. So again, at least he had the foresight to stick it on a channel no one would know if it's just going to get ripped to shreds, which it did. So, it's... Would you want to highlight the person that's made you look very stupid? Probably not.
Exactly. That's why I brought it up. I wanted to see if the numbers changed at all.
No, not really.
They really can't. They can't.
Yeah, well, some do, out of Dunning-Kruger. And I can see today's Jay, I can see him responding, not knowing what he's walking into.
Yeah, Dunning-Kruger will, battle him through. He'll stick up the deflector shields at 100% and say, you're all idiots. We know it's a globe. Science. He'll just do some stupid idiot response. Probably. But yeah, but only because he's thick. He doesn't know any better. Doesn't know best not to do that. He'll be like, yeah, I want the YouTube farm views. Like, okay, if you're prepared to flog yourself for them, then you go ahead.
Whereas Sabine has a reputation to maintain and uphold, so battling people in the comment section isn't going to do any favours. It's only a battle she can lose.
Yep. Right, hopefully everyone will be in a more chatty and upbeat mood tomorrow, because I'm going to round out based on how downbeat everyone is. So with that, I'm going to say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. Hit me up on Ko-Fi and PayPal and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.